My name is Victoria, and on Thursday, November 21st, I saw Bedford Boys at Liberty University. Here's my playbill, and this is my ticket for the production. Me and my family were very touched by the entire show because we are an Army family, and it was a really, really great show to see. Now, when you first walk into the theater, you hear music overplaying, and you see the set push further downstage, and it is proscenium setting. And you get an old school diner, so you get a cozy, quaint, and retro feel. You really feel like you're at home. And as you look closer on the stage, you see on the calendar it says 1940, so you automatically know it's in the World War II era. And the program notes also tell you that it's in Bedford, Virginia, throughout 1940 to 1945. So that is the period and when and where the time and the play is set. Now, there are many characters in the show, but the main character is Roy Stevens, who's played by Josh Reed, and he is a very headstrong, confident, yet caring individual to his brother and his friends. And the antagonist of the entire play is man versus the world, which is the war that's going on. And Roy is drafted into the war, and he kind of plays this, oh, we're going to be heroes, and it's going to be so great. But he doesn't know how war is going to change him and the horrors that war possesses. The other significant characters in the show is his brother Ray Stevens, played by Joel Madden. He was a very realistic but vulnerable individual. Emma Thaxton, who is Roy's girlfriend, fiance, and she was played by Esther Eaton, and she was a very romantic girl. And then her sister Janie Thaxton is played by Tegan Cooper, and she was very optimistic and kind. Now, I really liked the costumes for everyone by Lillian Sharp, and she had to do a very hard job of creating uniforms for every single guy to create and mimic the common World War II uniform. And I think she did a great job, from the helmets to the big bags that they carried. And I also liked the girls' costumes and how their hairstyles kind of reflected their maturity and personality level. Now, Lucille Hoback, who's played by Melissa Knapp, she was 14, 15 in the show, and she had two milkmaid braids, so it was very childish hairstyle, versus Evelyn Shank, who's played by Abigail Hunt. She was in a very twisted updo that reflected her mature stature and her personality, and I really liked how the hairstyles reflected everything. Now, since the show does contain war, the most dramatic moment was when all the boys tragically died on the beaches of Normandy. And I think the lighting design by Barry Gowinski, this is one of my favorite elements of the entire show, and he really made it seem like we were at war, and the dim flashing of the lights as each boy dies and the ground surrounding the entire show just made the dark and eerie feeling that you need and the audience feels when you see people at war. And what I can see on the show, it was very emotional. That's the one word I can describe it, because you do see these boys grow up for 5 years, and you just eventually see them die at the end. And I feel like the production elements really made the show work and convey the message of growing up with these boys and then seeing them lose their life. The directing by Lyndon L. Cooper, I really liked her staging of the entire play. My favorite scene was when the boys were on stage, but they were still at war, but when the girls were reading their letters, it really created the feeling that through letters was the only communication, it's all they had, so the boys were there in spirit. And the scene's designed by Mark Howison. He did a great job on the diner, the train station, and I especially liked the boat, where he had the bunk beds and the different levels that it created to create the different staging. And the choreography by Aubrey Subert, she did a great job at the 1940s dancing to kind of lighten the feel and that sort of thing. And I want to applaud the stage manager, Laura Fasone. There's a lot of movement in this show about the sets and the lighting, and she did a great job that was very efficient. The main conflict of the show is the boys going to war, and it is tragically resolved by them dying, and Roy comes back to see how it's all changed and how war can tragically affect you, and that's how the conflict was resolved. And he goes through the most change because he is the only one who comes back, and even how it is reflected in his character, not so much by the costume, but how he carries himself, how he stood, how he walked, and how he carried the flask. You could obviously see his change through how he presented himself. The only question that I have for the entire production is Alan, played by Camden Deal. He joined the war and then he broke his foot, so he had to be discharged, but we never hear from him again. We don't know what happened to him, so that's the only production question I had. But the show was very, very well done, and I really appreciated how they took this show and knew that this is a very important subject to military families, and they did a really great job. Thank you.